रिलैक्सो मोड में रखते होंगे हमेशा।
Let's start. Now, this topic is that thermodynamic wet bulb temperature, thermodynamic wet bulb temperature, or adiabatic saturation temperature. The thermodynamic wet bulb temperature or adiabatic saturation temperature is the temperature at which air can be brought to the saturation state adiabatically by the amount evaporation to the following air. So every air under a certain pressure, every volume of air, the known volume of air under a certain pressure is supposed to take a certain amount of moisture which it can absorb, and if it is given more moisture, it will just form a droplet out of this moisture and cannot absorb it totally. No. Now what happens? We know the wet bulb temperature is the temperature recorded by a thermometer when it is covered by a wet piece of cloth like silk wick or like this, which is totally wet and which is being evaporated from this wet cloth stage to the surrounding atmosphere, and thus absorbing its latent heat of evaporation from the thermometer bulb, and thus reducing its temperature to a considerable extent. And while dry bulb temperature is the temperature of a recorded by a thermometer in a say room or in an atmosphere where which is supposed to be totally dry. Now, in wet, so it's very clear that wet bulb thermometer requires certain oxidation, I mean certain vaporization of the air to reduce its temperature, vaporization of water from to the air to reduce its temperature, so that it is gives us the record of the temperature of the certain volume of air where it is saturated. Now, after the saturation is complete, means no more air can be absorbed in the by the air, absorbed by the volume of water. It is defined as the saturated volume of water, and the temperature constant is concerned under this condition. It is exists. It's defined as the saturation temperature. Now, what we are saying, thermodynamic wet bulb temperature or adiabatic that saturation temperature means the temperature at which air can be brought to the saturation state adiabatically by the evaporation of water into the flowing air. So it is adiabatic brought to saturation state adiabatically means there should not be no other heat transfer takes place by, but only the evaporation will take place, and it will air will be completely saturated. Means it is up to the extent it can absorb this moisture, and both should be done adiabatically. Means there should not be a heat transfer takes place from the system or across the system. And how will do by the evaporation of water in the flowing air. So we should reach a state at the vapor is a saturated wet bulb temperature, adiabatic saturation temperature, or at thermodynamic wet bulb temperature is that when there is no heat transfer takes place, but the air is fully saturated with the vapor. Now, how will it possible? The equipment used for the adiabatic is in the slipless form consists of a insulated chamber like this, which is totally insulated, but there should be supposed to be no heat transfer takes place across this boundary, and it contains adequate quantity of water. Now, there is an arrangement for extra water known as makeup water to flow into the chamber from the top. It means extra makeup water. If the air water is the level is reduced due to the continuous evaporation, so it is to be added from the top, and which is defined as like a spray and is defined as makeup water. Now, the unsaturated air, it is entering here from this side, and saturated air is going out from this side, and air passes over the chamber for a long sheet of water. There is a top of water is a long sheet, is a sheet of water, and the evaporated water as the temperature of the incoming air is more, and the evaporation takes place from the surface of the water, and evaporation is carrying out the latent heat taking from the air as well as from the water. So both the temperature of the coming air as well as the temperature of the reserve of the water is reducing, and it will find that after a certain period of time, the amount of water which is coming in is going out after fully saturated. So this situation, there is temperature of the water remains and heat transfer. The temperature of water remains more or less same, and heat transfer and this water is automatically absorbing by the incoming air. And thus the specific humidity as is coming in specific humidity, the amount of water vapor content per kg of moisture is increasing, and vapor, the specific humidity or the mass of water vapor present per kg of air is increasing, and specific heat means mass of water, that is the mass of water vapor, mass of water vapor per kg of water, per kg of mass of water vapor per kg of dry air. Now, this makeup water is added to the chamber at this temperature to make the water level constant. Now, it is open from the top. We are supplying water when we find that water level is going down. So we are constant here time and again, maybe intermittently, we have to supply water to the water level so that water level to certain level is maintained and it is being absorbed continuously by the incoming air. But both the water level are to be cooled to a certain extent as the evaporation takes place. This process continues until energy transfer from the air, to the water is equal to the energy required to vaporize the water. So there will be equilibrium takes place when energy transferred from air to the water is equal to the energy required to vaporize the water. So energy, if the temperature is higher and contains higher amount of energy, so it will transfer to the water and it will convert this amount of energy is being absorbed by the water as a latent of evaporation. And when this amount of energy present in water is exactly equal to the amount of energy required for evaporation, so then we say that the steady condition is reached. This steady is equal to this. When this steady condition is reached, they are flowing at section 2 is saturated water 2. So here, when these both of things are equal, then we understood that we are supplying out at the outlet is totally saturated with water vapor. The temperature of the saturated water is known as the thermal temperature. If you measure the saturated water, is defined as the thermodynamics wet bulb temperature, adiabatic saturation temperature. Thus, the main condition is the temperature content in the air. That energy transfer or energy transformed of air is exactly equal to the energy required for the vaporization of air. Energy transfer from the atmosphere air is energy equation required to the vaporization of it, vaporization energy required to vaporize the water. The steady condition at which the air flowing at section 2 is saturated with water vapor. When steady conditions are reached, the air flowing at section 2 is saturated with water vapor. That now the temperature of the, if you take the temperature of the saturated water, you get the thermodynamic wet bulb temperature. So let us do this. Let us explain the adiabatic process through this TS diagram. So what is given here? It is entropy S, and this is temperature T, and this is the psychrometric curve, and we have a temperature Dp, that is the dew point temperature, means the temperature when the vapor is fully saturated at a certain pressure, it is at a certain temperature. When the temperature fully saturated with water under a certain pressure, when the volume of air, I'm repeating again, when the volume of air under a certain pressure is fully saturated in the saturated vapor, a condition will reach then where the any additional vapor will start forming moisture here, and the temperature thus reached, and the wet bulb temperature at this pressure is defined as the dew point temperature. The contact thermometer, when they receive contact, otherwise it begins to contact. Is the saturation temperature. Yes. Next is wet bulb temperature TD2. At the point 2, the point the air is saturated because it is over the saturation curve, and the temperature here is recorded. It is also wet bulb temperature, but not dew point temperature. And TD1, it is also equal to given as TD1, and TD1 is when 1 is unsaturated air, but initial condition it is unsaturated. Now, from there, we are in the adiabatic saturation process takes place, and we reach here. Constant pressure cooling is also takes place. We reach the dew point of the unsaturated air at 1. During the adiabatic saturation process, adiabatic saturation process, it can be noted that the adiabatic saturation temperature is taken equal to the wet bulb temperature for all practical purposes. So adiabatic saturation temperature is equal to the wet bulb temperature for all practical purposes. Now, the partial pressure of water vapor, the partial pressure means the pressure exerted by the water, if it is fully occupied to the, say, 1 cubic meter of mixture of dry air and moist vapor, when the individual partial vapor is only the partial vapor is air, if it totally occupies the the given volume, and partial pressure of vapor is that pressure when it exerts, which is when it is totally occupied the given volume. So, although the total pressure of air volume mixture remains constant, the unsaturated air initially at dry, unsaturated air initially at dry bulb temperature TD1 is cooled adiabatically to dry bulb temperature TD2. And unsaturated water air initially at dry bulb temperature, unsaturated at dry bulb temperature is cooled adiabatically to dry bulb temperature TD2. So what you see, it is unsaturated, and unsaturated, it is at its temperature when it is dry, when it is cooled adiabatically to dry bulb TD2. Next, which is equal to the adiabatic saturation temperature TW, adiabatic saturation temperature. It may be noted that adiabatic saturation temperature is not is taken to be equal to the wet bulb temperature for all practical purposes. Hence, H1, enthalpy of unsaturated at point 1, is the specific humidity at the point 1, means specific humidity, the amount of air, the specific humidity is the, or humidity ratio is the mass of air present in the 1 kg of air. Specific mass of air present in 1 kg of air, H2D2, corresponding value at the point 2. So 1, enthalpy at unsaturated section 1, enthalpy at unsaturated section 2, at section 2, and HF3 is the specific humidity at the water at 1, and W2 is specific humidity, means the amount of moisture present per kg of dry air at 1, at section 1 and at section 2. And HFW, sensible heat of water at adiabatic saturation temperature, becomes HW, sensible heat of water. Sensible heat means which can be measured or by thermometer at adiabatic saturation temperature, HFW. The balancing the enthalpies of air at inlet and outlet, that is H1 plus W2 minus W1 in HFW is equal to H2. H1, the sensible heat, means the specific heat, the mass content of the mass added from 1 to 2, mass of whatever absorbed multiplied by the sensible heat plus the enthalpy of the air and saturated is equal to H2. So what is getting? We are having the value of enthalpy at H1, and we are supposed to calculate the value of H2 at enthalpy. So the mass of vapor added at between 1 and 2 in the point multiplied by the amount of sensible heat is to be added to the H1 to get the value of H2, or H1 W plus W1 HFW, H2 plus W2 HFW. Now term H1, H2 plus W HFW is called sigma heat, remains constant during adiabatic process. Means HF2 plus and H1 is the enthalpy of 1 kg of dry air at dry bulb temperature plus W1 is the amount of moisture present per kg of dry air, and H1 is the enthalpy of superheated air at TD1. So this enthalpy of the superheated air multiplied by the amount of moisture added here, amount of superheated moisture and amount of moisture multiplied by the amount of moisture is to be added with the 1 kg of dry water at dry bulb temperature TD1, and you will get the enthalpy at TDH1. Similarly, in the same way, HF2, enthalpy at the point 2, 1 kg of dry bulb temperature, and HF2, HG3, we have saturated vapor at wet bulb temperature TW per kg of dry bulb vapor. The equation may be written as, thus the equation will be written as HD1 plus AW1 HS1, as if we have put the value of H1 here and H1, H2 here. So both the cases, H1 we are replacing by this this term, HW1, and H2 is replaced by this term. From here, this is here, and here is here, and put it here. Then H1 W1 into HA1 plus W1 into HS1 minus W1 HFW. Run. W1 HS1 and W1 HSW here, these two are added together, and W2 HSW, and these two are clubbed together. That is HS2 minus HSW and plus, which is on HD2 plus HD minus HD1. HD1. So W2 HS2 minus HFW plus HA2 plus HB1 divided by HS1 minus HFW. So W1 reduces and means enthalpy of the air. In psychrometry, the enthalpy of superheated vapor at dry bulb temperature TD1 is equal to the enthalpy of supersaturated vapor to dry bulb temperature T2. Enthalpy of superheated vapor at dry bulb temperature TD1 equal to the enthalpy of superheated vapor to dry bulb temperature TD2. So enthalpy is not changing here. Now let us go through some practical problem, then go for the psychometric chart. Now, the atmosphere is given at 0.985 bar enters the adiabatic saturator. The dry bulb temperature, the wet bulb temperature is reducing. Wet bulb temperature is 20 degrees centigrade, dry bulb temperature is 31 degrees during this active saturation process. Find the humidity ratio entering air, vapor pressure, relative humidity, and dew point temperature. Given PV is equal to 0.965 bar is equal to TW 20 degrees centigrade or TD is equal to 31 degrees centigrade. The humidity ratio of the entering air is say W1 humidity of the entering air, W2 humidity ratio of the saturated air. So what we have decided here in this situation, in this adiabatic process, the unsaturated air is the initial condition, means when it is coming into the chamber, and it is the unsaturated air when it is coming out of the chamber when at the point 1 and at the point 2, which is given here. This is the point 1, this is the point 2. Here, temperature and pressure is given, and temperature divergence is D1 and temperature divergence is T2. Thus, we are assuming what is the specific humidity, what is the specific humidity at section 1, that is W1, specific heat at section 1, and what is the specific humidity at section 2. So, W1 is given as written in terms of W2 and there are different enthalpy of different points. Humidity ratio of the entering air is ratio of the saturating entering air and humidity of the saturated air, W2. First of all, then find the value of W2. For the psychrometric or steam table, we find that saturated temperature at pressure of vapor at 20 degrees centigrade is given as 0.02337 bar. And enthalpy of saturated vapor at 20 degrees from the steam table, it is obtained from HS2 minus H2 2538.2. The sensitivity reported at 20 degrees centigrade is given as 83.9, and enthalpy of the saturated air at 31 degrees centigrade is HS1 Hg1 and 255 to 8.2 kJ per kg. We know that the enthalpy of saturated air corresponds to the dry bulb temperature of 30 degrees centigrade. HA1 is mCpQV, means M is the mass, Cp is the specific heat at part of air, and TD is the dry bulb temperature, which is given as 31 degrees centigrade. So, if you put all of them and calculate, then you will get 31.155. Enthalpy of the coming to the dry bulb temperature 31 degrees. So enthalpy of 1 kg of saturated vapor compounded into wet bulb temperature 20 degrees centigrade is given as M, the mass, CPW, mass is the 1 because they are saying taking 1 kg multiplied by Cp 0.005, the specific heat at control pressure. And multiplied by 20, 20.1 kilojoule per kg. And D2, W2 0.066 ppb2. We know W2 is the specific heat, as the humidity ratio or specific humidity at the partial pressure P2 and barometric pressure PV and PV partial pressure B at 2. So barometric pressure is 961 and partial pressure is already calculated by 223. 0.02333, and so we put the W2 is a 0.0154 and W1 in the similar equation given here as above. W2, HS2, HFW, HS2, HW, and HS2 is at the point 2 from the steam table you get 2538, and HFW at water fluid and water, the enthalpy of the fluid water latent heat of enthalpy 83.9, and H2 is 20.1 and the HT1 is 31.155, and put the value same values of HS2 minus HFD1 or 0.0108 kilojoule per kg of dry air, that is W1. Next comes the vapor pressure and relative humidity at 31 degrees centigrade, means at the coming in entering air. And vapor pressure at 31 degrees centigrade, you know the humidity ratio of the entering air from the given air from the specific heat multiplied by barometric pressure multiplied by the specific heat at the partial pressure at heater B1. That is W2 at this is equal to W1. W1 is given as W1 you have already calculated 0.0108. So by putting the value and putting the value of the barometric pressure, which is known to us, and V1, the partial pressure at V1 is the partial pressure vapor, and V1 is equal to 3 P2 or P1 is equal to 0.01664. For steam table, we know the saturated pressure corresponding to 31 degrees centigrade given as 0.04491. So relative humidity, the ratio of the mass content from the outlet as well as inlet is given by a 0.0164, 0.0449, 0.36 or 36.57%. Now dew point temperature is the saturation temperature corresponding to the partial pressure vapor. Therefore, from the psychometric chart of steam table, we get the pressure of 0.0164 and dew point temperature is 40.5 degrees centigrade. Now let us go through the psychometric chart. What is psychometric chart? It is a graphical representation of the various thermodynamic properties of the moist air. The psychometric chart is very useful. What is the different thermodynamic properties shown here? You see specific humidity and dry bulb temperature is important, sensible heat factor, wet bulb temperature, dew point saturation temperature, enthalpy over the scale, and vapor pressure in millimeter Hg. It is useful for cutting out the properties of air, finding out the properties of air, and eliminate the lot of calculation which is not required in the field of air condition, and we can eliminate a lot of calculations. There is a slight variation in the charts prepared by different air conditioning manufacturers, but basically they are same. The hygrometric chart is normally drawn for the saturated pressure. or 760 millimeter Ag. That is normally drawn for in cybernetic chat, diagonal temperature here is taken as abscissa here. What is given? The abscissa, or in this chart, what will happen? This is the diagonal temperature here. It is at the abscissa. Now, and specific humidity, the humidity per kg, the humidity, that is the moisture content as ordinate. Specific humidity per kg of the mixture, or the humidity ratio, that is as the moisture as the ordinate here, like this psychrometric chart. The humidity ratio or grams of moisture content. Now the saturation curve is drawn by plotting various saturation points at corresponding diagonal temperatures. The saturation curve expresses 100% relative humidity at various diagonal temperatures, also represents wet bulb and dew bulb temperature, dew point temperature. 100% in, we understand that 100% is saturated at various diagonal temperature. It is a total wet bulb temperature full point. Now the saturation curve is 100% relativity of various wet bulb temperature. Also the wet bulb temperature and dew point temperature. Now the psychrometric chart has a number of digits. The following lines are important from the seismic point of view. Dry bulb temperature line. This is here. The dew point temperature, first is the dry bulb temperature line. The dry bulb temperature is vertical. Dry bulb temperature lines are vertical, that parallel to the ordinate, and vertical. That is parallel to the ordinate and uniformly spaced, shown in 67. Dry bulb temperature of this chapters are fully shown here. It is, the lines are dry bulb temperature here is not exactly vertical, but horizontal, parallel to the ordinate and uniformly spaced, as in Segacha. Generally, the bulb temperature range of these lines are psychrometric chart is -6 to -45 degrees. The dry bulb lines are shown wet bulb with difference of 5 degrees centigrade, and up to the saturated curve is shown in the figure. Values of dry bulb temperature also shown in the saturation curve. This is the values of dry bulb temperature. It is actually in the abscissa, not on the vertical. Next, specific humidity or moisture content. The specific humidity lines are horizontal, that is parallel to the abscissa. That is specific humidity lines or moisture content line. It is horizontal, parallel to the abscissa, non-uniformly spaced, as in figure 9. Figure 9. Specific humidity. হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ নিচ্ছি কেন হ্যাঁ একদম hello the specific unit line is horizontal, parallel to the abscissa, and also uniformly spaced in figure 8 here. Specific unit lines This is vertical. This is just opposite. Generally, the moisture content range of these lines are specific range 0.32 gig ton per kg of dry air, and the moisture content lines are drawn and with difference of every gram up to the saturation curve. The dew point temperature lines. The dew point are horizontal, that is parallel to abscissa and non-uniformly spaced as in line. That is the dew point line, which is parallel to abscissa. Parallel to divergent temperature and non-uniformly spaced as in any point on the saturation curve, which either the dew point temperatures are equal. At any point on the saturation curve, the dew point temperatures are equal. That is the dew point temperature line. This is the line here, which is drawn parallel to the divergent temperature line, or like this. This is the dew point temperature line. This is the lines here. Next. The specific humidity, wet bulb temperature lines, whereas the front are inclined straight lines and non-uniformly spaced as in this figure here. This is the wet bulb temperature lines here. And the dry bulb temperatures and wet bulb temperatures are equal. So here it is just a vertical line drawn from the DB temperature, and here, and there, just joined here at this curve, and got this also wet bulb temperature line like this. Here, this is the dew point temperature line, wet bulb temperature line here as over this chart, and this 25 is a 25, it's a vertical drawn and reached at 30, 35, 40, etc. Enthalpy or total heat lines. The enthalpy of total heat lines are inclined straight line and uniformly spaced here. This is the enthalpy line, which is shown in this diagram. In this is enthalpy in kg. This is the enthalpy line. This is the straight line here, the enthalpy line. Or here, this is the enthalpy line, and this is the inclined line which is drawn here. Like this, it is called enthalpy line. Specific volume line. Specific volume lines are inclined here, are obliquely inclined straight line and uniformly spaced here. This is the specific volume line. So what comes here from the situation curve here? This is the specific volume lines here. These are the specific volume lines shown in this here. Specific volume. Here is witness 14% specific volume here. This is at 14.5% specific volume here, and this is 15% specific volume, and 35.5% specific volume like this. This is the specific volume line. Next, vapor pressure line. Vapor pressure lines are horizontal uniformly spaced. Generally, the vapor are not shown in the main chart, but a chart scale showing vapor pressure line of sum of H is given on extreme left side of the chart, as in the figure 30. Extreme vapor pressure line. Let us see what is that. This is the vapor pressure line, which is given on the extreme left of the chart, or given on this. This is the associated curve. This is the vapor pressure in millimeter of H. No, here shown. It is not shown here. Now it is shown here. Energy, and this is vapor pressure of the mercury. This is the vapor pressure line shown on the right, not on the left. Next. And relative humidity line. The relative humidity lines are curved lines that follow the saturation curve. If these lines are drawn with values 20%, by 30%, all these things, relative humidity and up to 100%, which is given. Let us see where it is. And this is the line 30%, 40%. This is the relative humidity line given here. And saturation curve represents 100% relative humidity line. This is the saturation curve, and this represents the 100% relative line. Means this is the curve where this 100% relative humidity is 100%. Let us stop here.